Welcome to Rotary. I'd like to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, so please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty and justice
for all. Amen.
Before our moment of inspiration, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for the recent passing of our club member, Dick Caesars, which I sent everyone an email, I believe on Friday, announcing that. So let's please bow our heads and have a moment of silence. Thank you. And now I'd like to call on Chuck Wolf for our moment of inspiration.
President Jeff, members of our Rotary Club, and honored guests. Today we celebrate and honor the birth and works of Dr. Martin Luther King, who was the leader of the American Civil Rights Movement from the mid-50s to his death from an assassin's bullet in April 1968. As a Nobel Peace Prize recipient, father, husband, author, and citizen, the words and actions, many of us here, most of us grew up during those times and watched in the 60s as we were going through another turbulent time in America. The Peace Committee Book Discussion Group is discussing his book, Strength to Love. The book discussion group recently discussed the first 3 chapters, in which one of the themes is asking the question about how we and why as individuals can step out of our comfort zones of attaining success, recognition, and conformity to be instruments of peace and social justice. As Dr. King comments, we often ask, what will happen to me, my prestige, my status, if I take a stand on this issue? Will my home be bombed? Will my life be threatened? Or will I be jailed? The good man always reverses the question. Albert Schweitzer did not ask what will happen to my prestige and security as a university professor and my status as a Bach organist if I work with the people of Africa, but rather he asked, what will happen to those millions of people who've been wounded by the forces of injustice if I do not go to them? Abraham Lincoln did not ask, what will happen to me if I issue the Emancipation Proclamation to bring end to the chattel of slavery? But he asked, what will happen to the Union and to a million Negro people if I fail to do it? Martin Luther King goes on to say, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in the moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. The true neighbor will risk his position, his prestige, and even his life for the welfare of others. In dangerous valleys and hazardous pathways, he will lift some bruised and beaten brother to a higher, more noble life. Today, considering the extreme racism, violent murders, and dangerous acts of those terrorists who stormed the steps and the halls of our people's house, Capitol.
I can meet you over there in about 12 minutes.
And how are we as human beings, as Rotarians, going to stand up, demanding accountability, justice, and actions for all of those responsible to keep our American Republic and self-government alive? Are we going to act, risk standing up, or retreat to the comfort of maintaining protection of our success, recognition, and conformity to avoid our own responsibility of citizens, doers, and leaders? It is our choice.
Thank you, Chuck. Well, welcome to the Rotary Club of Fort Wayne. I'd like to remind everyone that if you're not speaking to the meeting, please put yourself on mute so you're not making noise that disrupts what's going on. First, I'd like to ask for any visiting Rotarians, which I know we have some, to please introduce themselves. John?
He's muted.
Oh, can you unmute yourself, John, and introduce yourself?
Yes, I can. There's so many Johns on here. I didn't get the inflection. I'm John Frischie, District Governor from Kentland, Indiana. As far west of you as you can go on Highway 24 and still be in Indiana. I'm glad to join you.
Thank you, John. And Jane, please introduce yourself.
I'm Jane Roush, DGE, District Governor-elect, and I'm very close to you up in Kendallville, Indiana. My club is actually Albion, but very close to you. So glad to be here.
Thank you, Jane. Do we have any other visiting Rotarians? Seeing none, do we have some guests of Rotarians?
President Jeff, I have two guests today. We have two students. Our first two students of the year have joined us. We have EE from Northside High School, and I have Quinn Selick from Canterbury High School. So I think I said hi to everyone before the meeting, but thank you two for being on here. I think they are even off of school today for MLK. So another big thank you for hopping on a non-school day.
There you go.
Glad to have you.
Okay, great. And now, are they visiting for the month or for?
Yes, they are. Both of them are January students. So it's their first three meetings with us.
Wonderful. Well, welcome. Welcome to Rotary and your first introduction to what we're all about. Do we have any other guests of Rotarians? Seeing none. At this time, if you're not already done so, please sign on online with whatever social media you use and let your friends know that you are visiting the greatest Rotary Club on the face of the earth. This date in history. In 1803, President Jefferson requested funding from Congress to finance the Lewis and Clark expedition. Now, this was a group of 52 individuals that were going to be traveling throughout the area that was part the Louisiana Purchase to map it out and figure out what all they got out of the deal. Jefferson asked for $2,500 from Congress. Hopefully they didn't spend it all in one place. And in 1981, on this date, minutes after Ronald Reagan's inauguration as the 40th president, the 52 U.S. captives held at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, Iran, were released, ending the 444-day Iran hostage crisis. And this date in rock history, in 1975, now you may not consider this rock, but Barry Manilow had his first #1 single, Mandy. He would go on to sell 75 million records. Now, he had an interesting career. You may not know this, but Barry started out as a jingle writer. Now, you determine how successful Barry was as a jingle writer. He wrote, Like a Good Neighbor, State Farm is there. He wrote, I'm stuck on Band-Aid because Band-Aid stuck on me. And he also wrote, You deserve a break today, so get up and get away to McDonald's. I can hear all three of those tunes in my head. From there, he served as Bette Midler's piano player, then graduated to her musical director, lending his arranging and orchestration talents to her Divine Miss M album and tour. Think of Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. Well, that was Barry.
Alexa.
And from there, he landed his own record contract. And besides Mandy, It's a Miracle, I Write the Songs, Looks Like We Made It, a string of 20 more top 40 hits. And Billboard named him the top adult contemporary chart artist of all time. So again, I don't know if you consider Barry Manilow rock and roll, but he certainly made a lot of records. Our Rotary is provided by John Hoffman. John.
Good morning. I'm going to talk about the World Affairs Conference, and the World Affairs Conference has had a rough year. Normally, we would have had our conference last fall, and with COVID and the uncertainty in the schools, not knowing what they were doing and inability to actually get into the schools, it's been put off till this spring. And I've been working with John Hauser, who is a member of the Summit City South Club and the principal at Wayne High School, and a big supporter of the World Affairs Conference. We are still planning on having a conference, at least locally, and a couple of the district sites around our Rotary district are still hoping to have virtual sites. We're looking at a conference this year that, instead of it being an all-day event, would be a virtual event where the students would stay in the schools And it might be an hour and a half conference. It would be linked in virtually where they would be able to connect with a speaker over a two-way sync so that students would still have access with the speakers coming to the conference, so that they would not just be listening to a presentation, but would have contact with a speaker just as if the speaker were right there in front of them. So what is the World Affairs Conference? It's an opportunity for Rotary to share with, in the past, as many as 200, 225 students in Fort Wayne, as many as 1,000 to 1,200 students throughout our Rotary district, to discuss and share ideas on a topic of international interest. And normally we tie it back to a local interest as well. Past topics have dealt with climate change, global warming. We've had a topic on human trafficking and human rights violations. A very timely topic 3 years ago was on infectious disease, where we had a speaker from the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta came up and presented about how a pandemic can start. We actually had an exercise within our student population that was created by students from Southside that actually showed, by passing a fluorescent powder around, how we infected 15 students, and we had it spread to over 175 students out of 225 that attended. And Quinn from Canterbury, when we shared the story about how this infectious disease had started within our group, I want you to know that all the students from Canterbury, before they went through and got tested by the fluorescent lights, they got out their hand sanitizer and tried to remove the powder from their hands because they thought there was a real infection. It was kind of interesting. The students from the public schools weren't quite as concerned, but it was kind of interesting. All the students from Canterbury, Quinn, were ready to remove the infection from their hands, but they jumped all over that. But it was a very interesting experience and very timely, because we actually showed how infecting 15 people out of a group of 225, how very quickly, within a very short time, we were able to pass this virus to almost 175 people just by a casual greeting experiment. We've also had last year's topic, we dealt with new technologies and how that will impact people's lives. And we tried to share with students what their careers might look like. And when they go to college, what types of courses they might want to study, and how technology will change their lives going forward. So the World Affairs Conference, we take a lot of the mission of Rotary, a lot of the clean water and sanitation, we've done a conference on that, and a lot of the main missions, the infectious disease tied to our polio challenges and how we're trying to eradicate polio and infectious disease from the world. So we take a lot of the core issues of Rotary International and bring it back and share that with the students. So it's a way for us to tie our Rotary missions and share that with students and introduce them to Rotary. And so it really is a great way to bring the mission of Rotary, share it with students, but also educate them and share information with them that they're not going to normally get through the school programs. So that's what the Rotary World Affairs is. And if you're interested in participating in this program, let me know. We'd love to have your involvement. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Now, as you know, our Rotary Is moment, which each week talks about a different aspect of what Rotary is all about here at our club, took the place of our Sergeant's program, where we used to hit everyone for $3 every week. We're not meeting in person, so you will find on the spin the PayPal link. And we ask everyone to please consider sending some funds to pay for the Rotary Is. $3 a week would be $75 for 6 months. So when you think about it, send some money that way to help pay for our programs. Do we have any high fives? Chuck, did I see your hand up?
Yes, I'd like to give a high five to Tim Gibson. Tim, in the past couple of weeks, has been very helpful, helping me learn about Rotary International's sites for the Peace Committee. I very much appreciate it, and the Peace Committee appreciate. He was at our last meeting, and again, I appreciate Tim's help and support.
Well, we all appreciate Tim, so thank you. Do we have any other high fives? Looking for any hands up. Oh, James,
Yes, for all those who attended the
Can you
book
speak
study,
up?
we had probably about a dozen people. And it was an
Can you
active
speak up, Jim?
discussion and what?
can you speak up? You weren't muted, but you were very quiet. You are muted now.
I am unmuted now.
There you go. There you go.
Thanks to all of those who participated in the book study. I thought it went well and everybody was actively involved, and that's great. And invite you to the next book study, which is the first Tuesday of next month, which I think is the 2nd.
Thank you, Jim. Do we have any other high fives? Ron, it looks like the people behind you have their hand raised. Do they have a high five? All right. If there are no others, we'd like to.
Daughter, that's my daughter and I in Half Moon Bay in San Francisco. And I give a high five to my whole family for how blessed I am by them.
There you go. So we'd like to thank our Rotary workers today. Stasha is our spin editor and Lynn is running our Zoom room today. And you do have it recording, correct, Lynn? I'll take that as an affirmative. Announcements. We will be meeting via Zoom until further notice. Allen County got coded back to red, so we're waiting out this pandemic before we look to add back in the in-person meetings. But if you want to use the Zoom room for a committee meeting, please see Jane. Also, another reminder that the dues have been sent out. We have most people paid, but there's still a few stragglers. So please get that payment in. Now, you recall that we had a special big announcement that we were gonna make back on December 7th. We really promoted the heck out of this thing, but it didn't come to fruition. There was a timing issue, so we had to put it off. And now we're ready for that big announcement. It really helps set our club apart. On the presentation that we did, Holly and I did on the 7th of December on the foundation, one of the things that we talked about was when you give $100 to the foundation, you get 100 recognition points. And those recognition points go up with each dollar that you give to the foundation. And when they get to $1,000 on your recognition points, you can use those $1,000 points to do a Paul Harris. Some have used it to do a spouse. Some have used it to do a child or a grandchild. We've had members use it to give a Paul Harris to a member that does not have a Paul Harris because of contributions they've made to the club. We've even had people recognize someone in the community for the work that they've done in the community. When you give a lot of money, you get a lot of recognition points. And we all know a member of our club who has been an outstanding supporter of our international projects, and that is Dr. Kalapari. Well, he's given several $100,000 to our projects, and so he had that many recognition points, and he decided as a way to thank our club for being the conduit by which he can serve the children in his native country, he decided to use some of his recognition points and give a Paul Harris to every member of our club, making us 100% Paul Harris club. So if you didn't have a Paul Harris before, now you have one. If you were a Paul Harris, you're a Paul Harris +1. I have on my table over here a large pile of Paul Harris's to share with the club.
So Jeff asked me to narrate this part if we can't hear him. So he should be now under Jeff's phone. I'm trying to see.
Yes, he is.
He is, okay. I can't see Jeff Trying to find Jeff. Oh, okay. Okay. Look, if you go under President Jeff, you will see a big pile of Paul Harris Awards and certificates. We are going to be handing those out in person once we can get back in person. We will be handing those out. I'm trying to find my plug isn't working. It says my computer's gonna die. Okay, it plugged it in. I'm good. So as soon as we're back in person, we will have a big meeting where we can hand these out to everybody in person. And it really is, Dr. Kalapara really wanted to just thank the club for all the work we've done with the global grants, and thought this would be a really nice way to thank every single one of the club members for the work with the global grants.
There are very few clubs with the membership numbers that we have that are 100% Paul Harris. And so it's an amazing thing for all of us to have a Paul Harris to our names. In total, there are, and on the table that I showed you, there are some Paul Harrises there that are there because we had members that gave enough money to earn their own. And in fact, the very last pin in the pile is a major donor pin. And you can only get that if you've given $10,000 in actual cash through the foundation. So Dr. Kalapara didn't have anything to do with that last pin that's a major donor. So in total, we have 60 first-time Paul Harrises, 20 Paul Harris plus 1, 11 plus 2, 11 plus 3, 7 plus 4, 4 plus 5, 6 plus 6, 4 plus 7, and 8 Paul Harrises plus 8. And with the giving that took place in December that I sent in for the district match, we have another 10 that we will be receiving once the district and the club matches have been given to their members. So in total, we'll have 140 Paul Harrises to present. Obviously, we don't want to mail all those out. We want to be able to meet in person and present them to all of our members. But it is just an astounding gift, an astounding statement that he has done. And we can't thank him enough.
Oh, and to kind of further expand on that, you may remember me telling the story of how when we did our very first global grant in Raipur, which was with the Sai Sanjeevani Hospital for $440,000, $440,000. We were very new to global grants and it was really overwhelming. And I made a phone call to Steve Brown, who was the RI trustee who Praveen met in Cuba on vacation, who told him, approach your local club about global grants. And through Nick Shaw, we were the local club he approached. So I had talked to Steve Brown about how to kind of do this. And he was mentioning all their work in Afghanistan, and if only children in Afghanistan could have access to these hospitals. And having written grants, I knew any child could access these hospitals. So that's when Steve Brown's club, the La Jolla Golden Triangle Club, started sending children to Afghanistan for heart surgery. Praveen was instrumental in being the liaison between the hospital. We've since signed an MOU. The hospital has since signed an MOU with Afghanistan to train their physicians. And you may remember me showing Khalid, the first little boy who went to India, whose life was saved in these hospitals on equipment that our club helped to purchase. And when I say our club, it truly is, even if you're not on the International Service Committee, it is your dues, it is your gifts to the annual fund that are creating the match for these grants through district designated funds. So every single Rotarian has had a hand in this. So right now we're doing a wrap up on a an operating room in the Faridabad location. And they sent me a video that I want to show you. And I hope this plays okay. I tested it with my daughter this morning. got her on Zoom and tested it, but it's about a little girl from Afghanistan who has surgery in the cath lab that it was paid for by a global grant that our club did. So I'm gonna first turn up my volume the whole way, and we're gonna try to do this. All right, can you guys see the
Yep.
YouTube? Okay.
Yep.
There are subtitles. I think this is the first time I made it through that without crying. One of what really hits me hard in that video is not just that, yes, her life was saved through this heart surgery. That's phenomenal. But at the end where she's going to school, because for a female in Afghanistan, that is so critical. And I'm pretty sure she's going to the school that the La Jolla Club, hold on a second. I got to get off of this. There. But I'm pretty sure she's going to the school that the La Jolla Club started and maintains there because they're very pro female education. So that is just a little bit of our Rotarian dollars at work in Afghanistan, making sure this little girl and she's getting an education, and it's just beautiful.
Terrific, Holly. Thank you, and thank you, Dr. Kalapara. We will give these out when we are meeting in person and when Dr. Kalapara can join us. As Ron stated, it would take a whole program, a whole meeting to give them all out. You are correct. And we hope to also use it as bait to get some of our members we haven't seen in a while to come to the meeting so they can receive their Paul Harris. At this time, if there's no other announcements, I turn the meeting over to Tim Gibson to introduce our governor. Unmute yourself, Tim.
Thank you, President Jeff. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce our current district governor, John Frischie. And what I am about to share with you is just a tip of the iceberg, but this is amazing biography. John graduated from Purdue University in 1969. Those were exciting years to be down there at many levels. And he began his 28-year career as an agriculture education teacher at South Newton High School. He served director of secondary education from 97 to 2003. And then John served as an administrative assistant until his retirement in 2005. John was selected as a National Milken Education Foundation educator in 1995. He is a member of the Kentland Hall of Fame, received the Purdue University Agriculture Alumni Certificate of Distinction in 2018. Then he began a second career as the project team leader for HOPE, which is History Opens Eyes, a U.S. history education initiative that was created by former U.S. Secretary of Education William Bennett when he served during Ronald Reagan's second term. John joined the Kentland Rotary Club in 2006 and served as president in 2010-11 and treasurer in 2012-13. He's been active on the public relations and membership committees, as well as foundation. John served as District 6540 Rotary District Assistant Governor from 2012-15, District Assistant Governor Coordinator from 14 through 17, and this is unique, District Trainer from 2016 to 19. And the reason why I say that's unique, I think it was the first time in the history of our district we had a trainer that served the full 3 years. And annual fund chair from 2017-18. He received the Rotary International Vocational Service Award, chaired the 6540 Social Media Committee and the District Training Committee. Paul Harris Fellow +8 and a major donor and a member of the Paul Harris Society. John's passion is the Heart to Heart program with a district that we partner with in Mexico. I think it's 4170 and 4140. John and Sue were married in 1970 and are blessed with 2 daughters and 2 grandchildren. And John loves to fish. So I'm going to turn it over to John, and he's going to share the rest of the meeting, what he has for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. I'm not much about biographies. I don't really care what someone's done in the past. For example, if it's an airplane pilot and his biography, or her biography, I care more about what he or she is going to do in the next time when I am in their care. So I hope you take it the same way. All of us have had involvement in Rotary. All of us have had commitment, motivation, and we're excited. And you certainly have given me a tough job today to follow the induction of, 2,141,000 more Paul Harris Fellows. And I can tell you now that you are the angels from heaven. They join the other 4 clubs in the district that has achieved that. And just as a bragging point, the Kentland Rotary Club, of which I am a member, was the first one. And they are, first of all, Paul Harris clubs, 100% are very rare. Secondly, one now with, you're going to have to repeat the numbers, Jeff. I've got my shoes and socks off. I'm trying to count on my toes, but.
We have 121 members.
Okay, that's amazing. That's all I can say. Amazing, fantastic. And I'm going to tell you something else quickly before I really get into my boring speech, is that, points in Rotary, they're great. You get them for donating money, and we're thankful for the people that donate money to the annual fund. But points, do not do surgeries in hospitals. Points do not do any good for any mother, children, environment, in any of the areas of focus. Points I don't know, I joked they're kind of like S&H green stamps, if you remember those. I guess those you could go get dishes somewhere. But anyway, I'm excited for your club. That's great, and thank you, Dr. Calipara. I've had the pleasure of meeting him earlier in well, it was before my governor year. And let me go on with a little bit about Fort Wayne. My father attended the seminary school from the Lutheran Seminary at Fort Wayne. And he managed to stay there until the end of his 8th grade year, and he was called home because his family needed him. It was the Depression. I think they thought he might become a minister. I think my mother and father both thought I should go there and become a minister. Have they known me now, they probably would have said maybe I should have, but anyway, that's kind of my first connection. The next, stop laughing. Dick Conklin's laughing. I also want to share a little connection with Dr. King. Martin Luther King is a unique name for a Baptist minister. And when he went to Germany as a young person, he was enamored with Martin Luther's work in the Reformation. Martin Luther didn't want to start a new church. He just wanted to make a couple changes. But anyway, he carried that on and he was, I believe he was Mickey. I believe was his name, Mike. But he gave the name Martin Luther to his son also. So I think there is some connection, and today is a day when we honor his amazing effort. So the inspiration Rotary talk of the day was great. Well, this year is Rotary in a new phase. I've been planning for this position since 2017. In March in Kalamazoo, in the middle of pets, we were sent home. I unplanned everything. I have been replanning by the minute ever since. And as far as I'm concerned, from my view of, I don't know how many, 300 and some club visits now virtually, it's an amazing year, and Rotarians like those members in Fort Wayne are doing amazing good in the world. And that's what Rotary is all about. I've still not been released to visit clubs. Actually, Newton County is the only county in some metric that is not red in the state. It's in like the 2-week average or something. I'm not sure why that is, but anyway, Sue and I are going to go get our shots tomorrow, first one. I think Rotary before this year was about change, and I think that's good. I think there's a lot of things that have become, I guess, more inviting, more useful to Rotary than it used to be, and I'm excited about it. I don't think people that are older than me were thinking that horses should replace automobiles should replace horses. However, in my truck, I have GPS, I have Wi-Fi, I have air conditioning, power windows, power brakes, power steering, and I like all of those changes. I may not be the first one to adopt a change, but I am certainly maybe second. I think also the words of my good friend, and I'm older than many of you than I look, but my good friend, what was his name? Ben Franklin. You remember Ben? Some of you have heard about Ben. Ben told me that he said, John, he said, when you're finished changing, you're finished. So I've kind of lived by that motto, and I think it's a good thing to be governor this year when change has been not only encouraged but forced upon us. Tim, everybody's already shared a little bit my passion for the foundation. I'm not going to go into that. I am passionate about it. I'm excited that we are still having the matching funds. Judy Walker is still matching up your checks you have sent in with points we have acquired club members around the district. Another goal that I had this year was about making sure your club meeting room was welcoming to Rotary Club members, and it appears that all your homes are very well kept. Whoever just moved was in the closet. No, there. Anyway, that's the neatest closet I've seen. So you're ready to invite guests into your home. Even Al's background with the nice snowy trees. It's great. Focus on the youth in the community, and we're going to hear a little bit about this, maybe some more in a minute, but the Go Baby project, projects that we do in India with the medical assistance for children in Heart to Heart. It's amazing. We have a new membership plan. Rick, I want to call his name out. I think he's on here somewhere. He has been an amazing find for a new and innovative club chair, and he's working on several projects. I appreciate that. Bruce Haynes has been an amazing help to me and our committee with the District Foundation Gala. There's a lot of talent in the Fort Wayne Club. And for the first time I met Dee Hoffman, I believe she's the first Rotary member from your club that I met. And we were shipped off to Jackson, Michigan on a cold winter day to be trained to be facilitators at PETS. That whole plan has gone away, but I still have a facilitator's license, and guess who trained me? Jennifer Jones. Small world. She has continued her passion with Rotary, and I wish her the best of success. I can't stop without saying diversity today, because that's critical, that we welcome everyone to our Rotary clubs, that we treat everyone by the four-way test. And I went to a one-room school, and I had a middle school social studies teacher who taught me about diversity. And that was a long time ago, and I have not forgotten that. So our district, to give you a quick update, some new things this year is an International Service Project Director, and that's past District Governor Steve Van Scoik. And just so you know that Fort Wayne's not the only club that does global grants, I set about a mission to increase the number of clubs. It's hard to change the amount of funds we have, but it's not hard to encourage clubs to become involved. And I've also worked really hard with other districts in our zone. And I have I have asked them for money, and they have helped support grants that our clubs in District 6540 need more DDF than we have. So we have District 6710 from Kentucky. We have 6560, 6580 in Indiana. We have 6490, and I believe 6490 is in Illinois. And we have grants in addition to India and Uganda and Mexico. So we're excited. Steve has done a good job. Rick has done a good job. We're looking at new clubs, and these are some membership types that you may or may not be familiar with, but we are looking at Rotaract clubs based not on a college, but in a community. And that could be happening with the Chester and Porter and LaPorte clubs. We also, Huntington, which is nearby, is looking at a Rotaract club based in the community. And Joe Santa, the president, is working on that. I've been fortunate to work with someone named Santa this year. It's kind of been a dream of mine. We also are working on a club, probably a satellite club with Anthony Wayne in Huntertown. And you all know where that is because that's close to home. Tim and Rick and Jane Roush have done a great job on that. And we're still looking at environmentally or e-based club, probably in the Lake Michigan area to start, that wants to do something with the new area of focus, the environment. The district newsletter I'm excited about. Jane Delegati's done a great job. Please send information. My gosh, send her all the information about all of the Paul Harris fellows. I've asked already at a meeting with Jeff and Holly and some other people the other day to get the information out in the district newsletter, which is got to be in by the 25th of January. So we want to publicize it. We want to share your success. And Fort Wayne certainly has a lot of success to share. Um, Jeff, this is not an easy year to be club president, is it?
Oh, we've got such a good group of members and are doing so many good things that meeting by Zoom does not slow us down at all.
I can see that, and I appreciate that. And that's kind of the same way I've looked at it, is this is what the cards I've been dealt. I think to all the others, I think I've mentioned many of you, but I know as many more people, probably more people from the Fort Wayne Club than any other club, especially a large club, and I'm amazed by the work you do. I can't leave without thanking you for the holiday celebration. It was a chance for me to see Elvis again. That's truly enriching, and my gosh, where did you get all those hats and crazy stuff you did? But I know that the Fort Wayne Club has fun. And if Rotary isn't fun, Rotary is nothing. I'm sorry. You may find me one of the most lighthearted district governors that you've run into. I find that coming to a club and giving a 20-minute speech on Rotary is not my cup of tea. So I'm getting ready to ask some questions. I don't think I have enough time to celebrate all the things that Fort Wayne has done. And we're excited to see that continue. I can encourage you to keep working on your Rotary citation. You have achieved that in the past. I don't see any reason, excuse me, I just lost 17 pages. I don't see any, I got your attention now. Click, click, there they go. I don't see any reason to change that this year. No problem that you're not going to achieve that, I wouldn't think. I think also I can, you guys know more about the foundation than most foundation people do. I got some update on your membership. It's changed a little bit from what I was going to say, but I know you're in the process of working on it. I know that this year you have already donated $89 per member to the foundation annual fund. And I think your total donation is $10,700 and some dollars as the last time I looked.
Yep, 54% of our goal, so we need to keep giving.
All right, you're on it. So I don't need to, I'm preaching to the choir. Okay? I think you had a COVID grant and you helped the Matthew Clinic. Does that sound right?
Matthew 25, the Neighborhood Clinic, and the Rescue Mission, as well as Parkview Hospital and Lutheran Hospital.
All right, exciting. I think your total giving last year was at 400. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's even this year. Our district is at $164,000. So the gala online giving went really well, thanks to Bruce and the people from Fort Wayne that participated. I think also the total dollar giving to all of Rotary programs in Fort Wayne is simply amazing. I'm not going to go into individual comparisons. I am going to stop. I want some questions. Let's play Stump the Governor. Questions, comments?
Well, I will add, you mentioned Go Baby Go in your comments, and that's a project that came up last week that our executive committee met in a quick emergency meeting on Friday to discuss and decided to pursue the project. So I'll tell the club, we were approached by Ruth Ford. You remember Ruth? She was a member of our club until recently. She is at Huntington University, where she has been, and she is in charge of doctoral students. She has a doctoral student who is, her final project is taking on Go Baby Go, which is a national program. And what that project does is it takes those like electronic cars that toddlers can drive, and then uses engineering students or local engineers to purchase whatever is needed to take an individual vehicle and make adjustments to it so that a child with this list of disabilities can operate it. If you think about wheelchairs where someone might operate it by blowing in a tube, that's kind of the extreme example, but what they do is they work with kids with disabilities and get them a vehicle that allows them greater mobility. And so we're meeting with them and trying to put together some marketing material that we could then go out to other area clubs and make this a larger Rotary project for several of us, and then try to raise the money from members, from member businesses, from community contacts to fund the project for the student. She was looking for $7,500. We decided to try to raise her goal to $10,000 because it's such a neat project. There's so many kids that need this type of thing. And so this is a local project that the executive committee has decided to take on, and we're just in the early stages of it. But it's a neat project that we think can have the opportunity to bring lots of Rotary clubs together. Tim, anything you want to add to that?
It just fits perfectly into our maternal and child health area of focus.
And it's a local project as opposed to an
Yes.
international project.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
Well, and I'll give the disability perspective on this that I had, this has been on my radar when I was still working, but there were some other issues that could not be addressed. And I was real excited that Huntington University and Ruth and her student are willing to take this on, but it has so many additional tangents to it involving not only more students, but also engineers, whether it be electrical, mechanical, and then vendors. So I think that might give us some new pathways into expounding and expounding and expanding about Rotary and work in this community. And just so you all know, March is Disabilities Awareness Month. And so Ruth and Audrey, the student who is leading this, are going to be our speakers. So you'll hear more firsthand.
And if the Albion Club is interested in getting involved, let us know.
As well as the Catlin Club.
Yeah, well, you just never know. We'll all, if we get it promoted, we'll see who we can draw in to support a great project. And there was a couple questions in the chat. One regarding about how many clubs are meeting virtually or not meeting. And basically, to be transparent, I think we have 5 clubs who are not meeting at all. We have clubs that have met every meeting every week virtually since March. We've had clubs that have been in and out of the virtual Zoom meetings to, I guess, hybrid meetings. So about every combination that you can think of, and I'm actually hosting a training session for a club that says no members can use Zoom, like Zoom, want to Zoom, and I'm trying to convince them otherwise. It's not a governor visit. It's more about, can we help you?
Well, John, I got a question for you. Holly and I were the program last week at the ASEAN Satellite Club.
Yes.
And they expressed an interest in partnering with us to be the sponsor club on an international project, because we can only take on so many, and we're looking for clubs to partner with us. They asked if they could be a partner, but we didn't know if a satellite club could be the lead club.
Okay, well, I was copied on that email. I think Holly may have asked that question, and we had several people from the district respond. The answer is technically no. However, the next thing I would do is let you know that ASEAN has a goal of being a club shortly. And that's the best thing to do in their case. I've had correspondence this morning that the Valpo Satellite Club wants to talk to the ASEAN Satellite Club or Bluffton. So there's communications going on. Officially, the answer is no, but we do have other clubs. I have been locating clubs for grants for Ranjan and other groups. I've used up Kentland. We're going to do a mother's milk bank in India. But there are other clubs that for, I don't know, $525 can be a global grant sponsor. And before we run out of time, I just want to share some news. Now, many of you may not realize, but I am the first district governor that sent a check to your club for pets reimbursement. The first. I am the first governor that managed to not charge district dues to your club for the first 6 months of the year. Now I want to announce that we are going to reduce your district dues for the second 6 months of the year by 50%, from $15 to $7.50. Pets dues was originally built into the budget to pay for your president-elect to go to Pets, plus a hotel room, plus whatever in Kalamazoo, and $250. That has been now reduced to $50. Now, I'm sorry I could not get that to zero. Jane can attest that I lobbied. We are not part of the Great Lakes Pets Committee. Technically, we don't make decisions. I lobbied and I said, I don't think I've paid to go to a Zoom meeting in Rotary, but anybody that's attached, an AG or anybody that needs to attend, I bet Jane can work that out. We'll be glad to have some of your leaders. You may be asked to be facilitators. So the pets dues are now going to be $50 instead of $250. And the district conference, which I was so much looking forward to in Monticello, in conjunction with RILA, appears now to be virtual. So I will be the first virtual governor in Rotary 6540's history. But I am going to continue that. I'm going to continue to try to make every activity we're involved in successful, and I'm excited for that chance. So you will not be paying your $6 per member district conference assessment. Now, with that, I've been waiting for someone in Washington to call me and ask me to work on the federal budget. So far, my phone has not rung, probably because the word cuts, I'm not sure, enter into the decision making. But, and I am not running for district governor again. So this is not a political speech.
Well, John, we will take that money and run, but I will say that you have virtually been a great governor.
I love it. I love it. That's a compliment coming from you. Anybody else with a question? Come on, Holly.
What are the plans for the Great Lakes or for the environmental club? Do you have a project or the scope, anything about that?
Well, that is probably the least organized club we have. We've had several issues to deal with. We do have interest from clubs around Lake Michigan. We have people from the National Park Service at Lake Michigan. We have people from the Indiana DNR. We have several Rotary clubs that actually, I believe the waves of Lake Michigan often almost touch their towns for one reason or another. And so we are looking for this to probably be an e-club or a passport club, which means they do not normally gather on, Mondays at noon and go somewhere and eat mashed potatoes, meatloaf, green beans, but they meet on Saturdays or in the evenings and they do projects. So we are in contact with Indiana Paddlers, which has about 400 members. And basically the purpose of this is not political. It is to simply aid in the restoration and preservation of the areas around Lake Michigan. Now, I won't remember all the rivers that go through. I know there's a confluence in Fort Wayne, I believe. Is that right? Do I have the word right?
3 rivers.
Two
Okay.
forming the third.
And this is not limited to Lake Michigan. My family is environmentally oriented. Many of you know that. I don't have the bison on my screen, but I bet you've seen them. So yeah, we are looking at this to be an E-based club, first one in the district, and those are the toughest ones to form because we don't have a pattern. Jane and I and Tim, we have attended virtual meetings around the United States. We are gathering information. So there's your answer, Barb.
Thank you.
Well, if there's no further questions for John, I see it is 1 o'clock. So we'd like to thank John for coming today. We always give our governor a standing ovation. We'll just give you the silent applaud instead.
That's great.
Our program next week, this week we had a governor. Next week we'll have a mayor. So Mayor Henry Mayor of Fort Wayne will be our program next week. He always gives his practice State of the Union address to the Rotary Club. So please join us and hear what's going on in Fort Wayne. Now, Holly, if or whoever's running the meeting, could you bring up the cabinet? Again, I don't have the actual cabinet here with me. But if we were meeting, you would see our cabinet with the 3 doors. And today I'd like to call on Mark Heisey. Now, Mark, please unmute yourself. I actually called on you in December, and the prize that you won was keeping with this date in history, it was a this date in history calendar for 2021. But we're already 18 days into 2021, and I haven't gotten that calendar to you yet. So you've missed 18 great days you could have looked up. So I'm giving you another shot at the cabinet, and I want to try to get that calendar to you this week if I could. Didn't know if I could drop it off somewhere at Parkview, but we will talk about that. But in the meantime, I'd like you to please pick a door.
Okay. Well, so Jeff, we'll do the gold for the Boilermaker Black and Gold.
Yes.
There you go. There you go. And your prize is a gift card for Casa Restaurant.
All right.
So I will get that to you along with the calendar that is still sitting in my desk at work.
Thank you very much.
And I end every meeting with a quote from the top 100 movie lines collected by the American Film Institute. And John, I was looking forward to your presentation, and I enjoyed it so well that I decided the line that fits for your presentation, because I was looking so forward to it, is from the 1996 movie Jerry Maguire. You had me at hello. As Rotarians, we look to the 4-way test to guide our thoughts, words, and actions. So please join me in reciting the test as we prepare for the week ahead. Of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth?
The fair to all concerned. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And fellow members, Rotary is adjourned. See you next week.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Have a good week.
Goodbye. Thank you all.
Good meeting.